This is definitely the most ambitious series that I've ever done. We are talking about literally thousands of coins that I have to go out there and find. And every single one of those coins has to be dug out of the ground. No pocket change, no banks, no nothing except for a metal detector and a shovel. Now, I know that they're out there and I know that I can find all of them. I just have to get out there and start digging them up, one hole at a time. Hello everybody and welcome back to Quin's Coins. I'm your host Quinn, and today it is my pleasure to introduce to you a brand new series that I'm going to be starting on the channel this May. I'm calling it the Ultimate Coin Hunt. In a nutshell, this series is going to be one massive adventure where I take on the challenge of finding every single United States coin ever minted using nothing but a metal detector. It's going to be big, it's going to take me all over the country, and it's going to be a ton of fun. The idea for this series was inspired by several great coin collectors and metal detectors, along with a few members of the Quin's Coins community. This comment made by a longtime subscriber of the channel captures the idea for the series perfectly, and to be honest with you guys, when I read this comment for the first time, I was thinking to myself, why haven't I thought of this yet? As many of you know, I have my Coin Quest series where I attempt to fill out coin collections using only coins that I get from the bank, and I also have multiple seasons of metal detecting videos where I go hunting for old coins and relics. So why not combine the two and create a series where I go metal detecting in an attempt to find every US coin ever minted? Oh yeah, because that's insane. US coins date all the way back to the 1790s. Michigan, which is the state where I currently live, didn't even become a state until 1837. So yeah, even in the most historic areas of the state, it would be pretty difficult to find a coin dating back to the 1700s. So I decided to dial the series back a little bit. What if instead of searching for every US coin ever made, I search for every US coin made within the last 100 years? This would mean that I just have to look for coins dating back to 1920. That seems pretty manageable, right? But where am I going to store these coins and how am I going to keep track of the progress? Oh, I know. I'll use coin folders. After all, that is what I do in my Coin Quest series, and it seems to be working pretty well. But wait a minute. In the Coin Quest series, I use Dansko albums, and those things are expensive. I'm talking $30+ per collection expensive. Buying all of the Dansko albums to hold these coins would easily cost me several hundreds of dollars. Not to mention that a lot of these albums have been out of stock for months, and it isn't really clear when they're gonna come back. So how about we go for the next best thing? Harris albums. So this right here is a Harris album, and here we have a Dansko album. As you can see, they're a little bit different. The Dansko album here covers a lot more dates, but it's gonna run you about $30 a piece on average, whereas this Harris album right here only costs you about $3. Overall, the Harris albums are smaller, more lightweight, and believe it or not, they actually have quite a bit of information in them. Now, as you can see, I had to pick up quite a few of these albums in order to cover the last 100 years of United States coins. But the nice thing about these, like I said, they are cheap, so I was able to get all 35 of these albums right here for the same price that would give me maybe 4 or 5 Dansko albums. So yeah, really not a bad deal at all. Now I know at this point that you guys are dying to crack into some of these albums and take a look, so without any further ado, let's take a look at these coin albums. Alright, so we're going to start off with a top-down view of the albums. As you can see, I've sorted them into their own denominations. Over here on the left side we have pennies, and then nickels, dimes, quarters take up this huge middle section, and then we have half dollars over here and dollar coins on the far right side. Now every single denomination that we have collections for goes back to at least 1920, with the exception of the dollar coins, which only go back to 1971. Now as you can see, most of the album cutoffs come pretty close to that 1920 mark. You can see the pennies start in 1909, nickels start in 1913, and so on. And so I figured, why not just expand the series out a little bit more and just include every single coin that comes in these collections. For the pennies, that's going to include coins minted between 1909 and the current date, a total of 280 coins. For the nickels, that includes coins minted between 1913 and the current date, a total of 247 coins. For the dimes, we're looking at coins minted between 1916 and the current date, coming out to a total of 277 coins. And then we get to the quarters, which is where things get a little more complicated. As with the dimes, we're going to be looking for quarters starting in 1916 with the Standing Liberty quarters, and those go all the way up through 1998, but then in 1999 things get a little bit more complicated as we have the introduction of the state quarters, which went all the way through 2008, and then here in 2009 we have the introduction of the DC and territorial quarters, and then in 2010 we have the America the Beautiful quarters, bringing us all the way through 2021. As you saw earlier, we only had a total of 4 penny collections, 4 nickel collections, 4 dime collections, and then all of a sudden things exploded with a total of 10 quarter collections collections. Now, whereas all of the other denominations have been in the 200s, we're looking at a total of 408 quarters that we have to find. That's over $100 face value in quarters alone. Up next, we have the half-dollar series, which is also going to start in 1916 and go through the current date. In total, we have 7 collections and 202 unique coins to find. And to finish it off, we have the dollar coin series, which, as you can see here, have come in a couple of different sizes over the last 50 years. This series spans a total of 6 collection books and contains 149 unique coins that we have to find. So with all the collections totaled together, we are looking at a total of 1,563 unique coins that we have to find, and that includes some super tough dates like the 1909 SVDB penny and the 1916D Mercury dime. So yeah, this should be fun. Now I know that at this point you're all probably wondering, Quinn, how much did all of those collections cost you? With shipping included, these 35 collections right here cost me a total of $139.10. I know it sounds like a lot, but for the amount of use that I intend to get out of these babies, it is an absolute steal. Now, I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. If you want to buy collections in bulk like this, definitely don't do it on Amazon because you will have a hard time finding a seller that has all of the collections you want. And what happens then is you end up having to pay a whole bunch of different shipping fees for different collections. I learned this the hard way by creating a shopping list with all these collections in it and then realizing that my shipping costs were gonna be huge. If you want to buy collections in bulk like this, go to a website like Wizard Coin Supply. Now, just so you know, Wizard Coin Supply did not sponsor this video in any way, shape, or form. I just wanted to let you guys know how I did this in case you want to do the same. And this is all coming from an Amazon affiliate member who actually has an incentive to direct you to Amazon. I'm saying don't go to Amazon for this type of thing. So I'll go ahead and put a link to Wizard Coin Supply down in the description below and you can check it out for yourself. So I don't know what it is, but there's something super satisfying about having all of these collections in order in this box like this. It's just really fun to look at, and I've been like staring at it for the last couple minutes like, man, that is super cool looking. So anyway, back to the Ultimate Coin Hunt series. There are still a few unanswered questions, such as, what kind of places will I be hunting for these coins? What kind of metal detector will I use? And what am I gonna do with all those duplicate coins? Because I'm bound to find at least a few. All of these are good questions, so here's my answers. I'm gonna be starting off by doing my detecting in public parks. I find parks to be the easiest locations for quick metal detecting trips that don't take too much research or overhead setup. I'll likely be filling in the more modern sections of these collection albums just by hunting parks alone because there's always tons of people visiting parks and dropping change. Once I fill up a good chunk of these modern collections, I'll then try and move on to some older properties. This is going to require me to get out of my comfort zone a little by starting to knock on doors and ask for permission to hunt properties. Now, to be honest, this is something that I struggled with a lot in the past when it comes to metal detecting, but I want to push myself to overcome that fear and start door knocking and getting onto some better properties. This is how I intend on filling in some of those more difficult parts of the collection, like the older wheat pennies and the silver dimes and silver quarters. Now, as far as the half-dollar and dollar coins go, I really don't have much of a plan for those at this point. Even clad half-dollar and dollar coins are difficult to find because they really never circulated that much, especially within recent years. And the silver half-dollars are likely going to be some of the most difficult coins to come by. Hopefully, once I get far enough into this series, I can actually use the support of the community to try and get onto some better permissions and find some good stuff. This is something that I'm hoping for, but I'm definitely not counting on it. I know I have to go out there and find my own permissions if I want to get some of the good stuff. I would really like to get out of the state of Michigan and possibly even get over to the East Coast where I can find some older coins because there's a lot more history in that area. As for the kind of metal detector that I'm going to be using, I have an Ace 400 that I've been using for the past couple years and I really love it. It's definitely not a top of the line metal detector, but it gets the job done and it has no problem finding coins. Now, I don't know, I might upgrade my metal detector at some point during the series, but for now, I'm sticking with the Ace 400. So the final question is, what am I going to do with all of the duplicate finds? Basically, the plan is to store all duplicate coins that I find in jars and coin tubes, just like I've done in the past with all other metal detecting finds. I'll make sure to keep the older coins separate from the more modern coins, and if I find a duplicate that's better than the one currently in the collection, I'll replace it. I'll also be experimenting with different methods for cleaning the coins, and I put that in air quotes because all of the methods that I'm going to be trying will be completely non-intrusive to the coin. I'm anticipating that some of these coins that I find are going to be really difficult to get the dates off of, particularly the Buffalo nickels. I'm actually really worried about the Buffalo nickels that I find in this series because they are notoriously difficult for getting dates off of, probably because they've been sitting in the ground, some of them for almost 100 years. But anyways guys, that is pretty much the gist of the new series that I have coming out soon. I plan to post the first episode in the next couple weeks, and once the series gets going, I'll be putting them into playlists so that you guys can watch them in order. It is currently May, and the metal detecting season in Michigan lasts from about April to November, so that's a good solid 7 to 8 months for each season. I probably won't be posting these videos in the rest of the months that to make up the winter season, but I have plenty of coin roll hunting and coin collecting content to fill up that period as well. So guys, make sure to let me know if you'll be watching this series by smashing that like button and leaving a comment down below. I'm super excited to get this series kicked off, and I can't wait to see how many coins we find and where this series takes us. With that being said, thank you so much for watching. As always, I'm Quinn, and this is Quin's Coins signing out, and I will see you in the first episode of the Ultimate Coin Hunt.